As a park ranger, I thought I'd seen it all, until I followed a strange light deep into the Appalachian wilderness. Come with me while I tell you my story. I've been a park ranger along the Appalachian Trail for almost 3 years now. In that time, I've encountered my fair share of strange things. Hikers swearing they were being watched, distant voices where there shouldn't be any, even the occasional abandoned campsite with no sign of who set it up. But nothing prepared me for the night I stumbled upon something I still can't explain. There's a stretch of the trail we keep locked down at night, partly because of how steep the terrain gets, but mostly because of the thick fog that rolls in off the valley. It moves fast, swallowing everything, making it easy to get turned around, even for the experienced hikers. I've seen more than a few folks get lost out there, so when I saw the faint glow of a fire through the trees on one of my night patrols, I knew I had to shut it down. At first, I figured it was just another group ignoring the rules. It happens more than you'd think. People thinking they're above regulations, confident they won't get caught. I adjusted my radio, switched on my flashlight, and started toward the glow. But as I got closer, something felt off. The air was unnervingly still, not even the usual chirp of crickets or rustling leaves. Just a thick, heavy silence. That's when I realized the glow wasn't coming from a fire. It was something else, soft, pulsating, flickering like a candlelight, but shifting strangely, like it was floating. I called out, "Park Ranger, anyone out here?" No answer. I stepped off the trail, crunching over damp leaves as I moved toward the glow. With every step, the air grew colder. My breath misted in front of me, which made no sense. It wasn't nearly cold enough for that. The light, whatever it was, didn't flicker like a fire would. It swayed, moving deeper into the fog. A part of me wanted to turn back, but I'd come this far, and the ranger in me wouldn't let it go. If someone was out here, they needed to be sent back to safer ground. If it was just some prank or an illusion, I needed to know. So I pressed on. The deeper I went, the more distorted everything became. The trees seemed taller, their twisted branches stretching over me like skeletal fingers. The ground beneath my boots felt uneven, soft, almost like I was walking over something that didn't want to be disturbed. Then, suddenly, the light stopped moving. It hovered just ahead of me, illuminating something just beyond the fog. As I stepped closer, my breath caught in my throat. There, half buried in the damp earth, was an old wooden chair. Its legs were rotted, its seat covered in a thick layer of moss. But that wasn't the worst part. Hanging just above it, suspended in the air, was a noose, frayed, aged, yet perfectly intact. And then, the light vanished. I felt a pressure in the air, like something unseen had just stepped up beside me. The silence pressed down, thick and suffocating. My instincts screamed at me to leave. I stumbled back, my foot catching on an exposed root. I fell hard, my flashlight skidding out of my grip and rolling a few feet ahead. The moment it hit the ground, the beam of light flashed over something that made my blood turn to ice. Footprints, not mine. Fresh ones, leading right up to where I stood, then stopping just inches behind me. I didn't think. I just scrambled to my feet, grabbed my flashlight, and ran. The forest around me twisted, the fog closing in. My radio crackled with static. My breathing was ragged, and every step I took felt like something was right behind me, just out of sight. When I finally broke through the trees and back onto the main trail, I didn't stop until I reached the station. I slammed the door shut, my hands shaking as I fumbled for the radio. I didn't even know what I was going to say. Eventually, I convinced myself it was just an illusion. Maybe a trick of the fog, maybe my mind playing games in the silence. But that didn't explain the footprints. It didn't explain the feeling that, even after I left that place behind, something had followed me. I never saw the light again. But to this day, when I patrol that section of the trail, I refuse to step beyond the trees. Because sometimes, just before the fog rolls in, I swear I can still see that chair, waiting in the darkness, and the faint outline of something swaying just above it. For more Dreadful Shadow Chronicles, click that like button and don't forget to subscribe.